When it comes to having pride in your city, having some strong sports teams really goes a long way in helping that.
Listen. I'm thinking championship. I'm thinking championship, y'all. Hold on. What about championship? Does that not matter? Excuse me. Boston's winning championships.
Before we start this list, we just wanted to clarify that this is based on the recent success of the city's sports teams. We also only want to focus mainly on the big four professional sports leagues, the NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB. So with that addressed, let's get right into it. Best, Los Angeles. Yes, the Los Angeles market has 7 teams playing across the big 4 pro sports leagues. The more teams, the better your chances are of winning. But it's really the recent success of 3 LA-based sports teams that lands the City of Angels on this list. Think about it. The Los Angeles Dodgers won the 2020 World Series. The Los Angeles Lakers won the 2020 NBA Championship in the Orlando bubble. And the Los Angeles Rams won Super Bowl 56. All of this happening in a 16-month span. The Los Angeles Kings won Stanley Cup in 2012 and 2014, so if you're an LA sports fan, you've certainly had the fortunes of enjoying a championship parade in every major sports league over the past decade. The Kings returned to the NHL playoffs in 2022 following a 4-year hiatus and look poised to contend for plenty of cups over the long run. The Dodgers are the Dodgers, and the Lakers still have LeBron James. If you go to the other tier of LA sports teams, well, the Clippers are a bona fide contender if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are healthy. The Angels can't seem to break through, but they at least have 2 can't-miss generational talents in Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. And hey, the Los Angeles Chargers aren't half bad with Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, and Mike Williams there. Simply put, it hasn't been this fun being an LA sports fan since the 80s, when the Showtime Lakers and Tommy Lasorda's Dodgers ruled the landscape. Worst, Detroit. Remember how fun the 2000s were for Detroit sports fans? The Red Wings won 2 Stanley Cups and reached 3 finals between 2002 and 2009. The Pistons emerged as a juggernaut and won the 2004 NBA championship. The Detroit Tigers reached the World Series in 2006 and again in 2012. But now, woof. All 4 Detroit pro sports teams are in the midst of a major rebuild with no clear end in sight. The Wings and Lions haven't made the playoffs since 2016, the Tigers since 2014. The Pistons have made it just twice since 2010, and they haven't won a playoff series since 2008. What more is there to really say? If you're an old-time Detroit sports fan, we suggest popping in those VHS tapes of the Wings from the 90s. Best, Boston. Los Angeles has won 3 major sports titles since Boston last celebrated a championship, which was in 2019 when the New England Patriots won Super Bowl 53. So Boston can't be considered the current city of champions, but they still have it pretty good. I mean, 6 Super Bowls, 4 World Series, 1 Stanley Cup, and an NBA championship in the 21st century. Wowza. Even after the Patriots' Super Bowl title, the Bruins fell 1 game short of the 2019 Stanley Cup championship. The Celtics made an unexpected run to the 2022 NBA Finals before falling to the Golden State Warriors. The Patriots, Bruins, Celtics, and Red Sox are annual playoff teams, and usually championship contenders. Even if Boston doesn't win another title for a while, at least the folks of Beantown can enjoy 4 consistently competitive teams. Worst, Phoenix. The nice part is that Phoenix doesn't have 4 downright awful teams. The Suns are among the NBA's elite, and the Cardinals are at least a playoff contender, even if their second-half meltdowns are impossible to comprehend. The problem is, the Suns keep leaving their fans wanting more. They choked away a 2-0 series lead to the Milwaukee Bucks in the 2021 NBA Finals and imploded in Game 7 of the 2022 Western Conference semis against the Dallas Mavericks. The Cardinals own football's longest championship drought. When you have a franchise QB like Kyler Murray, you gotta be contending for titles. The bar has been raised and fans aren't going to celebrate one-and-done playoff appearances anymore. But the Coyotes, oof. Okay, let's just say this. Find someone who loves you as much as Gary Bettman loves the Coyotes, because this perennial losing franchise can barely fill a college stadium with its fans these days. And then there's the Diamondbacks. I mean, at least they have the memories of the 2001 World Series run. It's just too bad they have to share a division with the Dodgers, San Francisco Giants, and San Diego Padres. Best, Tampa Bay. For a relatively small city and market, Tampa sports fans sure have it good. Since 2020, the team has celebrated 3 titles and a whopping 5 finals appearances. The Buccaneers won Super Bowl 55, their first title in 18 years. They followed that up with a 13-win season and the NFC South Division crown in 2021. The Lightning won back-to-back Stanley Cups in 2020 and 2021, becoming just the second team in the salary cap era to win consecutive championships. And they reached the finals for a 3rd straight year in 2022, narrowly falling to the powerhouse Colorado Avalanche, and again, no shame there. And the Moneyball Tampa Bay Rays just keep finding ways to win despite low financial resources. They reached the World Series in 2020 before falling to the Dodgers. Worst, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Let us cheat a bit here and tie the Twin Cities all into one. The Minnesota Vikings haven't been able to build off their unexpected run to the 2017 NFC Championship game. Kirk Cousins was supposed to be the final piece that would get them over the top, but the franchise has been mired in mediocrity instead. One playoff win since 2018 isn't gonna cut it, considering this team fell 1 game short of playing in a Super Bowl. Inside their own stadium, no less. The Vikings are never a bottom feeder, but those 7-9 win seasons continuously keep them out of title contention while also depriving them of high-end draft selections. It is a really tough situation to be in.
I eat because I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy because I eat.
The Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edward-led Timberwolves are becoming must-watch TV, but are the T-Wolves actually cut out to contend in the tough Western Conference? We're not sold on it yet. The Twins will contend in a laughably weak AL Central division for the long run, but division titles really aren't enough. Many fans are waiting for the team to win its first playoff series since 2002. And then, the Wild are just the perfect example of what to expect from Minnesota sports teams since 1992. They have made the playoffs all but 1 year since 2013, and yet they haven't been in the conference finals since 2003. The Wild always enter the postseason as a regular season juggernaut with seemingly all the pieces in place to win a title. And then they fold when it matters most. Sure, it's nice that Minneapolis-St. Paul has 4 pretty competitive teams, but none of them are real title contenders, which only adds to the never-ending heartbreak in the Gopher State.
When's it gonna stop hurting, man? I keep thinking the pain's gonna go away, but it doesn't.
Best, Denver. Oh baby, how nice have sports been in the Mile High City since the start of 2022? Colorado Rockies aside. The Cale Makar and Nate McKinnon-led Colorado Avalanche finally broke through in the postseason and brought the franchise its first Stanley Cup since 2001. All those years of playoff shortcomings are finally in the rearview mirror. But just a few short months after the Avs Cup parade, the Broncos traded for Seattle Seahawks star QB Russell Wilson to finally end their search for a franchise quarterback. Wilson will single-handedly ensure that the Broncos remain in championship contention over these next few years, so they'll at least be a little more watchable. And then there's the Nuggets, who have emerged as a force under 2021 and 2022 league MVP Nikola Jovic. He and Jamal Murray are a dynamic young duo who can totally take this franchise to the promised land. They are certainly capable of it. Do we have to discuss the Rockies? We don't want to dampen the mood here for Colorado sports fans. The Avalanche, Nuggets, and Broncos, who won Super Bowl 50 not too long ago, by the way, give Colorado a lot to be excited about over the next few years. Worst, Washington. It doesn't feel all that long ago where Washington was on the top of the sports world. Well, probably because it hasn't actually been that long. The Capitals won the 2018 Stanley Cup after a decade of non-stop playoff shortcomings and heartbreak. But the Capitals haven't won a playoff series ever since. They are a postseason contender with Alexander Ovechkin, Nicholas Backstrom, and John Carlson still leading the way, but a championship caliber squad? No. That ship has long since sailed. Good thing they got their one title, though. The Nationals, who were also no strangers to underachieving in the postseason, finally broke through by winning it all in 2019. And that was in the first season of the post-Bryce Harper era, of all years. But now the team is in shambles. Other key pieces from that World Series team, namely Max Scherzer, Anthony Rendon, Ryan Zimmerman, and Adam Eaton, are long gone, and the Nationals are now in the midst of a giant rebuild. the Wizards have been mediocre since 2018. The John Wall, Bradley Beal era got off to a promising start, but injuries unfortunately derailed Wall's prime years, which led to a trade to the Houston Rockets. Beal is still an all-star, but the Wizards don't have any talent around him to contend in the near future. They are simply doing the wrong thing by delaying their inevitable rebuild. And then, the Commanders. Well, the Commanders are what they've always been under Dan Snyder's ownership. They might sneak into the postseason once every few years, but that's gonna be it. Until Snyder leaves, this team isn't going anywhere. Oh well, at least the 2018 Capitals and 2019 Nationals did their part. Best, San Francisco Bay Area. No, the dynasty was never dead, it was just on hold. And lo and behold, the Warriors won their 4th championship in 8 years. And trust us, this team isn't going away anytime soon. The San Jose Sharks are irrelevant now as they begin what will begin a painful long-term rebuild. The Oakland Athletics are back into tanking mode, but who needs the A's in the Bay Area when you have the San Francisco Giants? Under manager Gabe Kapler, they have returned to relevance and look to be a fixture in the wildcard scene for at least a couple more years. And those feisty 49ers reached Super Bowl 54 and got to the NFC Championship game 2 years later. Kyle Shanahan has made these 49ers dangerous again. You just love to see it. Worst, Chicago. After Boston, perhaps no sports city ruled more than Chicago from 2010 to 2016. The Blackhawks won Stanley Cups in 2010, 2013, and 2015. The Cubs won the 2016 World Series and reached 3 straight NLCSs from 2015 to 17. The White Sox fans probably didn't shed too many tears because they won the Fall Classic in 2005 after all, but what's a decade of pain after you went 88 years between championships? The Bulls returned to relevance under Derrick Rose and Tom Thibodeau. The Bears were always mediocre or terrible, but who cared as long as the Cubs, Bulls, and Blackhawks were winning? Fast forward to today, though, and the Blackhawks are now among the league's worst teams as they refuse to commence the long-overdue rebuild. The Bears are the Bears. The Cubs began a scorched earth rebuild in 2021 and probably won't be relevant for a long while. The Bulls are a playoff contender, but not exactly a championship contender. And the White Sox had something special going before bringing Tony La Russa out of retirement. So much for a new AL juggernaut. Chicago was spoiled by Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls in the 90s and the Blackhawks in the 2010s. But there's really not much to be optimistic about in the Windy City going forward. But which sports city do you think has it the best right now? And which do you think has it the worst? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.